G'day, Jason the Middle-Aged Gear Junkie here. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to take you through my search for the perfect light overdrive. This was something that I thought would be pretty easy. It took me about 18 months. So let's begin. So it all started when I bought a full tone, full drive 2, which I bought for a keep or sell video. While playing it, I realized at that time that I needed a dedicated light overdrive pedal. While I liked the full drive 2, I sold it because I thought it was too big and too expensive to do what I regarded at the time as a pretty simple job. What I didn't realize is this was going to be a very long process of trial and error. I wasn't sure what I was looking for exactly, but I did have a sound in my head. I just wasn't sure how to achieve it. My first port of call was the JHS show. He had done an episode on the best overdrives for under $100. And the very first pedal that he recommended was the inexpensive Boss OD3. So I bought one and put it on my board for a couple of months. While playing it, I realized that it wasn't as dynamically responsive as I would have liked, and it clipped a bit too early. I was actually after something with a little bit less gain. I liked it, but I didn't love it. The next pedal I bought was the EHX Soul Food, which was my first Klon style overdrive. The Soul Food instantly won over the OD3, mainly because it was more responsive at low gain. It was about this time that I realised that I was mainly using the light overdrive for neck pickups. I liked the Soul Food, but I didn't feel it quite nailed the tone that I was looking for. A few months later, I treated myself to a birthday present, which was a Tech 21 double drive, and I'd been looking for one of these all along. Now, Josh had highly recommended this in the same episode that I spoke of before. Now, this pushed the Soul Food off my board, but what I realised very quickly was I actually preferred this as a medium overdrive rather than a light one, so it still didn't quite nail the sound I was after. Late last year, I bought a Klon KTR to do a versus video against the Soul Food, but I really liked it. It was really responsive and had a very detailed sound, but once again, it was the tone of it that wasn't quite the tone I was looking for. I liked it, I still like it, it's wonderful, but it wasn't quite that tone that I was after. This was starting to get really frustrating. I mean, this had been the most expensive pedal I'd bought to date for this light overdrive, and it still wasn't quite what I was looking for. Earlier this year, I was watching an episode of Pedal Picasso's. Check them out if you haven't seen them. And they were talking about a blues breaker clone, which was the Moore Blues Crab. Very inexpensive, and I decided that that was kind of like the tone I could hear in my head. I bought one, plugged it in, and very quickly realized that was the tone that was in my head all along. It was a blues breaker tone. Now, blues breaker tone is very unique. It has a sort of glassy top end, which really helps neck pickups to cut through the mix. They don't have a whole lot of gain, and I didn't mind that because I wasn't looking for something with a lot of gain. I really love this pedal. And to put it in perspective, I kicked off a $400 pedal off my board and replaced it with a $50 Chinese pedal. That's how good this thing is, in my opinion. I absolutely love this thing. After playing the Blues Crab for a few months, I decided I would take the plunge and buy a more expensive blues breaker type pedal. And I was trying to get my hands on a Snouse Black Box, but I could never quite get my hands on one. Then the opportunity arose for me to buy an actual Marshall blues breaker. It was expensive, but worth it. This thing was exactly what I was looking for. And although a lot of people said that the Blues Crab is an exact clone, it's not an exact clone. There are a few differences. There's a difference to the top end in the tone, and the main difference is that the Blues Crab is actually a little bit more compressed than the Marshall Blues Breaker. This has a very detailed sound. It is very responsive. It doesn't have a whole lot of gain, and that's exactly what I was after. I just wanted a bit of dirt, just a slight amount of dirt. I want to be able to play stuff with a little bit of rock to it, and then be able to play bark with the same settings, and I can do that with this pedal. What I found was that I actually have this as almost like an always-on pedal. I love it. It stacks well with other pedals. This with a tube screamer is just solo heaven for me. This one actually sounds better on bridge pickups than the Blues Crab does as well, because the top end's a little bit different. The Blues Crab, I love that on neck pickups or in position 4 on a Strat. This, however, sounds good anywhere you put it, and it's a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. It's so damn good. In fact, I would have... The irony of it all is that I started off with the full drive and I said that pedal was too big and too expensive, and I replaced it with a pedal which was about just as big and more than twice the price. Sucker. Anyway, before I go, I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers. You guys are great. If you haven't already, please join the Middle Aged Gear Junkie Facebook page by clicking the link in the description. My name's Jason, and I'll see you later.